Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. We got the whole squad of 4 here tonight as the Avs are taking on the Boston Bruins, this time in Boston. Historically, the Avs do really, really well against this team, but it's not going to be an easy one tonight. We'll put it to you that way. Avs lineup, no changes expected, so continuing to run an 11-7 squad with, at least they're not playing defenseman at forward, but also not getting an Arturi Lehkonen back. Nothing like that. So, start here. The Avs are 2-1 on this road trip. They have 2 games left. Are you happy if they split these last 2 games 1-1? Is that good enough?
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I mean, before they left for the trip, looking at the roster, I'm like, if you win the road trip, that's a big win.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it.
Fair enough. I don't have any argument against it, other than just wanting them to go 2-0. But if they don't, I'm not too worried about it.
Well, especially with how the Philly game went in Colorado.
Yeah.
I would like to see them handle that caliber of competition differently. And that's not to say Philly hasn't exceeded expectation this year, because they have. And I think it's impressive and has elevated then how the Avs should respect that contest. But both of these games, I think, have also been a matter of weathering the storm, because it is an obviously depleted lineup. Not so much so that they should embarrass themselves, but they also just kind of need to ride through it, because reinforcement is at the end of this all, and they're just waiting to get back one of Byram or Lehkonen as soon as possible.
Yeah. They need to round out their lineups with some of these guys that are getting close to coming back, for sure.
It's getting a little hairy.
Yeah.
I go back to my point, though. I hate the back-to-backs. I like back-to-backs. I do.
Why?
I don't know why.
I hate them.
No,
I think they're awful.
As a player, I didn't mind them. I'm just saying, I don't mind it. I hate 3 and 4. This is a 3 and 4. That's a tougher one.
Yeah.
And then I hate 4 and 6, which is Saturday. It's actually 4 and 5.5 because it's an afternoon
11
game.
a.m.er, yeah.
So I think those next, that next one and today are tougher than the last one, but that's just me.
Hey, look, the good news is they have a whole slew of days off coming up, not only after these next 2 games, but then the All-Star break a little bit further down the road. So they'll have the recovery time after the fact. It's just about keeping the legs going through these 2 games. Which, to keep that energy up, to keep the fuel line clear, you might need a little bit of gas with Circle K.
Like right now?
But look, we got our suite set up here with all of the snacks and stuff. So my question is,
In my hands.
who's got to eat tonight for the Avalanche? Who's got to get in there? Who's got to feast on some Circle K Inner Circle goodness? Who's first?
I picked such a silly one to go first. It's not silly, though. I stand by it. Jason Pullen. And it's honestly, he found the back of the net first NHL goal. Exciting moment. But I saw that he was searching for his second so much in the Ottawa game that even if he's not lighting up the scoreboard, I think that he can help to round out the forward group in a much needed way, because they are riding heavily on the top guys, and they're going to need to again in this game. But if they can get any depth scoring, it doesn't have to be just Jason Pullen. It's really necessary for them to survive a good Boston team. That's getting some reinforcements back too. I think that's going to be a boost for Boston tonight. Not even necessarily having Ullmark in net, but just knowing that he can back up Swayman, and Brandon Carlo should be good to go. I think he got hurt in the Colorado game. Not necessarily huge pieces, but I was expecting Boston to be a little more beaten up going into tonight to sort of match what the Avs are coming in with.
Would have been nice.
I don't think they're going to be.
Do we know if Brendan Carlo and Poitras are in? They were saying questionable.
I think Poitras is not, but I think Carlo is possible.
I'll look while you guys are doing your.
All right, I'll do mine.
eaters.
I'll do mine. I think I went with the French guy. So, Drouin.
What a shock.
You know, I gotta
French guy picks a French guy every time.
I gotta stick with my own. You know, so I think it was a big deal for him going back to Montreal. It was probably one that he circled back on the calendar for sure. And the way things were going at the start of the year wasn't good. He was probably like dreading it, like, oh boy, how do I spin that one off? You know what I mean? But you know what? 15 games before going into Montreal, he went on a tear, and he's been awesome. And he played good those last 2 games too. So I just think that, I don't know, he's my guy tonight. That's got to eat. Circle K. I got some almonds right now, so I think Druin's going to be eating some almonds tonight.
So Poitras, I can't say his name.
Poitras.
There you go. The French guy can say it. Poitras and Frederic are both taking warm-ups, and Carlo is not.
Wow, that was the exact opposite.
But with your 2 guys, I think it's 2 interesting spots. Druin is very much in a position where it's just, hey, how long can that guy keep it going? Just keep rolling with this point production that he's had, and he'll continue to be a valuable asset. With Poland, I think it's more of a, all right, you got your first goal. Look, you should feel like you can play in this league. We'll get to it in a little bit, but I'm curious how much opportunity someone like Poland will end up getting. I'll go next, I suppose. My guy who's going to eat tonight is Cale Makar. I know that's a cop-out answer, but this is a guy who is a couple points away from tying Bobby Orr for the fastest defenseman at 300 points. That'd be pretty cool to do it in Boston. He's 1 goal away from taking the Avs' all-time defensive scoring lead in goals. Every other week, it feels like this kid's setting a record, but for him to already be setting Avalanche defensive records at this point in his career is a little bit ridiculous. It just feels like something that you need to experience.
He's younger than Sam Malinsky.
He is younger than Sam Malinsky. That is a true
It is funny to ask Cale Makar about like the evolution of Sam Malinsky. Isn't it nice seeing a young kid get his chance? And it's like, he is older than you.
He's still a pup. Look at his rosy
He's
cheeks.
still a pup.
He's a pup.
Hey, puppies eat a lot. So
Yeah, true.
Can a puppy defeat a bear?
Yes.
with cuteness, perhaps.
With
Is
cute.
it a brown bear? Yeah.
If it's that little bear cub that they have on their 3rd jerseys, maybe. AJ, who you got eating tonight?
It's just Georgiev.
Yep.
Also kind of a cop-out, but I got to it first, so life is hard,
Suckers.
suckers.
Easy dub for you.
Yeah.
I went 0 for 2 in mine.
Really, it's just you got a beat-up lineup. You're at the end of a road trip. You're nearing the end of a road trip. You got a full game off. Like a full, like not on the bench, nothing. He's just hung out that night. Probably got to eat some press box nachos and or popcorn or whatever they have in Ottawa. And just chilled. Not on the bench, not staying focused, nothing.
The full reset
Just a
button.
full night off. Now, it's not magically going to undo the wear and tear that he has already accumulated to this point. But you're not asking him to do a ton until the All-Star break.
Yep.
You're down to 4 games. This is your most difficult, just at least in terms of opponent. If you're going to win this game, it's not going to be with, I guess I'll say it's unlikely to be, with sub-900 goaltending and needing to score 4 goals.
Probably would be tough.
It's going to be hard to do. So it's got to be Georgiev. You know, honestly, the best thing for the Avs tonight would probably just be a super low-key 2-1 win. Makar gets 2 points, so we can have that cool moment.
In Bobby Orr's town.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be really cool if he got 3
I'm here for it.
to make up for the one that they stole from him in Ottawa.
He really should have gotten a point on that empty netter. I don't understand.
They
They
called
still
that.
didn't give it to him?
They called it possession. That last when that Sen barely touched the puck, they called it possession.
And yet McKinnon got the assist on that one to Mikko in the same game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Annoyed.
Whatever.
In looking at the last Boston game, David Pastrnak did not play very well.
True.
And that is why I think goaltending is going to be important, is I think that he's going to be individually motivated to score. And he had an assist in that game. It was kind of just a gimme, though. He just didn't play to his level that we expect from him. And I think that's someone that the Avs need to look out for in particular tonight, and why Georgiev needs to be especially solid in net.
The 3 skaters need to eat some Circle K snacks. Georgiev needs to eat pucks.
He needs to eat pucks.
That's how it's got to be. That's Who's Gonna Eat,
Well,
presented by
what would be
Circle K.
What would be the snack equivalent of a puck?
Those ding dongs.
Oh yeah, good
They
call.
look
They
like
do
little
look like
pucks.
pucks. Yep.
Or the
I think
ones
about
that
this a lot.
what's that pizza place? God, it's like Chipotle, but it's pizza.
Is it CC's Pizza?
No,
It's like Chipotle, but it's
No.
pizza. What? I have no idea.
Mod Pizza.
Mod. They have when you check out, they have those, and they're called like whatever pucks. Like they're friggin' pucks, man. They look like pucks.
That's awesome. I need to know
Some
about
sort
this.
of a ding dong, but
I love this.
Go get your pucks at Circle K, I guess. That's where we're going with this. You can download the Inner Circle app today for a bunch of amazing specials, including weekend snack specials, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for all the best game day snacks and drinks. Getting a little bit further into this game, does Colorado have the depth to get by a Boston team? Like, obviously, you mentioned they're going to need Georgiev to help them out a lot, but can Colorado's depth not lose them this game, I guess is the question I should be asking.
I'll go first.
Don't love the facial expression so far.
No, but I'll go first. For me, they do have a structure in their game. This is not a loosey-goosey team that goes all over the place. You have the best centerman in the game. You have one of the best wingers in the game, and you have the best D on the planet. So if you're getting a little bit of goaltending, which is always what we ask for, a little bit, we never ask for perfection. They can beat anybody on any given night. I don't care who they're missing. Now, does that make things a bit tougher? Yes. But can they do it? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to do it? Friggin' rights they are tonight.
I think the way that they contribute that I feel is most realistic is on the forecheck, retrieve pucks, win battles, engage in those battles, and then try to win them. I understand maybe the physicality of a Jason Poland might be a little less physically mature compared to some of the fully grown adult men on Boston, but
sure.
They're not so far behind it either. I think that's the benefit of having the college free agent guys is they are a little more physically mature than the 18-year-old straight from junior, and that's where I think that the depth can contribute then. That's how they not lose this game. Will the production be there? That is wishful thinking, but if they are doing the blue-collar things correctly, that will help this team establish better possession for the next line out, and that could be the McKinnons, and that can be the Druins.
And we've seen this fourth line have a good amount of success doing things like drawing penalties and then taking some other penalties of their own on the other side. But they have done some solid contributing beyond just, obviously Jason Poland's goal the other day was great, but they know their role. They understand to do things like the forechecking that you mentioned. What else do the Avs have to do, E? Let's get to those three keys of this game to find success against Boston.
All right. Well, I'm going to say one of the big keys is preach patience. It's going to be a chess match. This is Boston's a smart, well-coached team from their assistants, and I'm biased. Obviously.
BS. We talked to Jim Montgomery not too long ago.
Yeah.
Go check out that interview.
Yeah. So Monty, obviously, with his Colorado connection, and then Joe Sacco, former Avs coach, and this is a very well-coached team. Same goes for the PP tonight. Just take a breather. Just set it up. It doesn't have to be done right away on the first entry there. Just preach a little bit of patience, some smart decisions tonight. This is a very good team. We just talked about it. It's a depleted lineup, so just be patient. That's going to be key tonight. 2, be opportunistic. Chances will be there. They do give up chances. Make them pay. You know what I mean? And then, Jesus. I have in my notes smart shit selections. That's not good. I meant to write shot selection.
I like it this way better.
What does it say on the graphic? Is it shit selection?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. My fault. All right. Not that you have to select your shits, but I'm saying you got to select your shots tonight. So if you have a team pinned down in the corner and everything and they're tired, don't just shoot the puck in the glove and then all of a sudden it's a freebie for them to change and you get a whistle. So tonight going to be very, very important to be opportunistic. It's a cliche, win the special teams battle. It is huge tonight. Both teams are top 10 basically on the PPPK. So you're going against a good PK, you're going up against a good PP. So very important tonight to get timely saves, and I know every save is timely, but in those opportunities tonight, it's going to be big, and then it's going to be big to get those goals that are needed sometimes on the power play. So it dictates the flow of the game. And then extra bonus key, I just put it out there, and AJ just talked about it a little bit, but I do believe, again, I said it the other day, and that he kind of shit the bed, speaking of shits. But I think the winning best save percentage tonight would be huge. Whoever has the best save percentage tonight of the two goalies wins the game.
Look, Justus Annunen, who you could make an argument as the Avs' fourth string goalie this year,
Sure.
just went out and put a 900 save percentage up. If you're the Avs starter, you got to do better than that. I want to see better from Georgiev. Going back to point number 3, though, power play penalty kill. I want to take this to jump into our last topic here. Let's be real. The Avs' top unit on the power play was terrible the other night. Downright awful. Second power play unit is the one that gets them a power play goal.
True.
Can Jared Bednar give that unit more opportunity? Can he find spots to give guys a little bit more rope, or is he just asking them to hang themselves?
I'll let you guys go. You know my answer, so as I'm getting my snacks.
Come on. No.
I gotta ask.
That's where I disagree, but go. Yeah.
He won't, and this is Cale Makar's game too. Like
Fair.
you don't want to take that away from the top unit, and it's not just solely Cale Makar, but I love what Sam Alinsky did on the second unit, of course, but you're just not taking that opportunity away from the personnel that's on the top unit. A depleted top unit that still, by comparison, has to be the one you roll with for the majority of the power play time, especially because in talking about a well-coached Boston team and the special teams battle, Boston's penalty kill run by Joe Sacco is really good. What he's managed to do with them is going to be even more of a challenge that I think you need the veteran players from that top unit there more than anything.
If they're absolutely awful and giving up odd man rushes left and right like they were the other day, yeah, put the second unit out.
Okay. But they have to go and do that first?
Yeah.
Beyond multiple times, too. Not just like, oh, it happened on that one, It has to be really bad, like it was the other day. It was really bad, and Bednar was like, "F this, dude. We're done. This is not working. Let these other guys not screw it up, and then they win it for you."
Yep. So, let me ask you at 5-on-5. Then you take a look at these lines. Is there opportunity for some blending on a night like tonight? Obviously, your top guys are going to be your top guys, but are you trying to find a shift from a Ryan Johansson moving up the lineup? Miles Wood's going to be on a second line anyway. But can you find, if someone's going on a third or fourth line tonight, can you get them more ice time? Or is this more of a rigid lineup tonight?
Anybody out of that bottom six gets going, you play them more.
Okay.
For me, it's any of them look like they've got it, especially if one of the lines as a trio has it.
Just send them.
Dude.
And I'm going to second that because one of the best guys, coaches I ever had was older Avalanche fans, Mark Crawford, right? I felt as a player that he had a good pulse on his bench. He was the best coach, I believe, at Rudo's going. Rudo's going to get a few more opportunities. And, he went with the guys that were hot, And that doesn't mean that the other guys didn't play. But let's say Val Kaminsky, awesome player, world-class player, but not really going that night. And then Rudo is. And he had the ability to sniff that. And then all of a sudden, he would go for Rudo for Val for a shift or two. And then all of a sudden, whoop, it kind of wakes up Val too, right? And it does. And I thought he was the best coach I've ever played for that kind of pulse on having the pulse on his bench. And I think tonight's a great opportunity. Like you said, bottom six, whoever's gone, you get the top and the back. And that's how you do it. And that creates internal competition. It creates, confidence on some guys. And then, usually the results follow.
It also puts the guys that are having good nights on the ice more.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, hey, that increases your chances to win.
And then you don't tax your top guys out like Betsy talked about a couple of days ago. He said it's on him.
Getting them down to the 22-minute range the other day was great. Please, more of that. Please, more of that.
So this is where Megan's Eater, I think, comes into play here with Jason Poland. And we talked about this a little bit on the post game the other day, but I wanted to ask you, first of all, in the immediate, does Poland have opportunity to get a more ice time? But also longer term, what does he have to do to, I don't want to say stick in the lineup because I don't think he sticks if the Avs are fully healthy, but you're looking at Val potentially out for a while. Could Poland earn that 12th forward spot?
I'm not sure what that realistically looks like. And I don't want to diminish Poland's opportunity, but I think it comes about because of the waiver situation with Bud Myers. And so I think that's something they need to do some soul searching on and make a decision about, first and foremost. But in the immediate, because they are just here to weather this storm until some reinforcement comes back in the way of Lehkonen, Jason Poland has huge opportunity. I think that there is no reason not to give him increased minutes right now because they're short bodies. They can afford to, and they can't afford not to. It overextends the McKinnons and the Rantanens, and they're even more depleted with Val Nichushkin out of the lineup. So I think it would be a mistake not to give Poland more opportunity unless he's costing your team in some way.
Yeah.
But I think his identity as a player is not to be that kind of guy. He may not have the greatest impact, but he's probably not going to hurt you. So in looking at other players that have been in his position, the reason they didn't earn trust is because they struggled to make any sort of impact. I at least think Poland's going out there and he's like a heat-seeking missile, throwing hits, and he just has to keep doing that. That's the kind of thing that's going to get him in the good graces of Bednar too. I still don't know, though, that realistically we're entertaining Poland vying for like a 12th or even 13th forward spot. And it's just because what's Oscar Olofsson up to? And what's Jean-Luc Foudy looking like in the coming games? I think that those are players that they can also give a try on, that they kind of owe it to from where they stand in the prospect pool and like the seniority of it all. But I think Jason Poland's most likely to appeal to what Bednar's looking for in a depth player.
Not just the physicality. Oh,
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's not just the physicality, but compare Poland's call-up stretch to Riley Tufte's call-up stretch. Both of them score a goal, great, whatever. You look at, as Riley's stretch goes on, he starts getting caved more and more and more when it comes to the possession metrics. And Poland has been very, very good on the forecheck for Colorado through his game so far and keeping that puck going the right direction or at least in the offensive zone, even if the quality of skill, expectations are low. So,
But he's a 30-goal scorer in college, Poland. He's never going to be a 30-goal scorer in the NHL, and I think he gets that. And for me, it's about seizing an opportunity because you have to have the mentality when you're given a call-up. I don't care what the circumstances are. Your name's called upon. I don't care if somebody's got the shits, because we're talking about that all day today.
I love it.
We don't care if somebody's got waiver status. Your name's called upon. Your role is to go out there, help that team win, and you want your name to be called more often within a game. You want to stick around. You want to say that you'll never touch the ice in the American Hockey League ever again. And by doing that, by having that dog mentality, it differentiates you from others. And there's a reason Riley Tufte's not here. He seems to have a hard time to do that when he gets to the NHL call-ups using those minutes. He doesn't use them right. If I'm Jason Poland again tonight, I go eat the dashboards in Boston. That's what I want to eat. I want to show that I belong here. I want to show that I can do this. And this is what I'm willing to do in the National Hockey League, to stick and to never going back. Because you don't know when your name's going to be called ever again. And that is so big. And then all of a sudden, that's how careers are born. Well, careers are born that way. Kyle Clutterbuck, we laughed the other day. He played 1,000 freaking games.
Mostly
I remember
by
he
just
was
running into
he
stuff.
was freaking called up by Minnesota. I remember he left his car at the airport in Houston for like freaking 45 days because he was gone. And I remember his first NHL game was in Denver, or second NHL game, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Never seen him playing. But you see him because he's a bowling ball, he's a pinball, like he hits everything, and then you're like, who is that? And then you're just looking down and you're like, you need a guy like that. So if I'm Jason Poland, this is what I do. I'm a human. Just take a page out of Miles Wood. You don't have the same speed, but I'm saying just be an impactful player each shift. That doesn't mean that you're going to score goals. It just means that you're going to be impactful. And there's a need for that in the Avs lineup in the bottom six.
Best case scenario for him right now, roster-wise, is he convinces the Avs not to go get another one.
There you go.
And that way, when they get into the postseason,
Yep.
If he's their 13th, 14th, 15th, whatever guy, he's on the list.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to give you an example, and I hate talking about myself because you guys know that. I did that in Toronto. I got called up for a few games until I ran into this freaking older guy. He had a hairy chest coming up there. Gordy Roberts. Oh, my God. I ran into him, and then my shoulder popped, and I was out like 6 weeks. So I had to go back to the minors. But the late Pat Burns called me during the playoffs. They were down 3-2 in the second round of the playoffs. Going back home, it was the 2-3-2 format back then because the Leafs were in the Western Conference against San Jose. And I got to my hotel room. We didn't have cell phones, and I had a blinking light on my phone, and it's like 1 a.m, and he's like, hey, in French, Burnsy, because I knew him from the Montreal days, and hey, big guy, play like you did last game in January, and you're in tomorrow night. I'm like, what? Why? Because I was a bowling ball. I was a freaking pinball that game against Pittsburgh before being hurt. And then that's what he needed that night. We won Game 6, Game 7, went on to the semi. I wasn't a good player. There was a lot better players than I was, in the minors, but he needed that. And he remembered that, oh, this guy's a bowling ball a little bit. Let's just call him up. So you leave an impression whenever you are. Even if he's gone by the end of this road trip, the impression is there. The mark is there.
Well, it's important to have that right mentality, especially for a team like Colorado. This is not San Jose where you get called up and it's a bunch of guys just trying to play.
You might never get called up ever again.
With Colorado, we're talking about less than a week ago. Cogliano was telling reporters, yeah, we're about winning. We care about one thing. And if you're not helping the Avs win, you're gone. It's simple.
Again, I'm going to jump in again. 2 seconds. I don't know if you guys saw Mitch Marner's comments last couple days. I didn't. Somebody's saying, hey, that's 4 in a row. You guys blow leads, you lose. And he's like, no, we're playing well. And, this is just bad luck. And then all I saw on the Twitter world the last 24 hours is people comparing that interview to Devon Tays' interview.
Yeah.
Remember Devon, what is it, a month ago or whatever? Hey, some guys are fooling themselves here. They think, because when you're about winning, the right things are said. Yeah. And I'm not calling out Mitch Marner. I don't know him. I'm just using the example of the two, interviews. And you're right. This place is about winning. Yep. So Cogliano said it. So those guys that get called up, it's no time for a picnic and a sandwich. And, hey, great, nice to meet you. What's your kid's name? No, it's, buddy, we want to win. Can you help us win? You can? Great, you're staying.
You also, as college free agents, you also don't sign in Colorado unless you're comfortable with that. Absolutely. You have to know the score coming in.
Yep.
So you need to be comfortable with the idea that, yeah, they're a little short in this area of the organization, so you might get an opportunity, but that opportunity might last 9 seconds if you don't meet that moment. Mm-hmm. Jason Poland's done a pretty good job, and is Oscar Olesen, just to use an example, is Oscar Olesen a more skilled hockey player? Yeah, absolutely. Is Oscar Olesen a better fit for what the Avalanche need right now? He is not.
For people that are not sure, how many goals does Jason Poland has in the American League this year?
Not many.
It's like
0.
2. Is it a 0?
It's 0.
Yeah, okay.
He's got a big goal. He's got more goals in the NHL. So
That
it's
happens
about a
sometimes.
fit.
Yeah.
It's a question of fit.
All right. I am about winning my bets. So
You do all the time.
let's get over with Bet365. I'm leaning all the way into the Cale Makar angle tonight. I'm getting a goal. I'm getting over 1.5, and I'm getting 4+ shots on goal, all plus money.
You should have just parlayed it.
All right.
Yeah, you probably get pretty good money if you
Did
parlay
you parlay
it.
it?
Yeah, I did not
You did
parlay it. It was 3 separate bets.
All right. I like it.
I'm riding the train. He's better than Bobby Orr. Get on board. Let's go. Do your betting with Bet365. Sign up with the DNVR 365 code today. Put in $10. You get $150 in bonus bets. And then take a screenshot of your account with that $10 in it. Send it to promo@thednvr.com. We'll give you a coupon for a free DNVR shirt. So if Cale does pop off, got the All Hail Cale shirt right here. Go get yourself one. Dope stuff. You can get a bunch of other shirts too. Doesn't even have to be an Avs shirt if you want a Nuggets or a Broncos or a Rockies shirt. Sick hoodie Eric's got on there. Go check it out. go send that over to us. Use the DNVR 365 code with Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. That's all we got for this pregame show. We got a watch-along coming your way that I have to hustle to set up here a little bit before puck drop. We appreciate y'all. If the watch-along's not your thing, at least join us for postgame. We'll break it all down after the fact for you. We'll talk to you soon.
We all silly like the mayor.